What is going on, you guys? My name is Cody Thixon, and this is Interesting Podcast. It is January 22nd, 2023, and this is episode 14, where I'm going to break down how John Cena ruined WWE for years. Let's get right into it. First of all, I would like to say that this has been a podcast that I have been wanting to do for a number of years, because I started watching WWE back in 2005 when I was 10 years old. I was actually watching it when it was on the UPN network, UPN 49 here in Oregon, and it was on Raw, or Raw was on USA. And back then, I remember John Cena being on Monday Night Raw. But SmackDown would have these segments where it was like a Raw rewind. There you go. And I remember seeing clips of John Cena, and that's when I was kind of introduced to his character before I actually got internet and was able to just go and rewatch Raw. But John Cena's character back then was actually really good. You know, it was from like 2005 to 2008 that I actually found his character to be really, really intriguing. And that was when he was in his Doctor of Thugonomics and then his, I guess, like, Marine character. You know, or like when you look back at ECW One Night Stand 2006, when he went up against RVD, that was a really, really good time for his character. Because, to me, one of the main reasons that John Cena kind of ruined things was because he was always pinned as Vince McMahon's favorite. He was always, quote-unquote, the number one guy, when we all know that there were other wrestlers at that time that were really, really good, especially being on SmackDown. You know, you had like The Undertaker and Kane and Finlay and Batista. You know, you had Elijah Burke. You had Tajiri. You had like all of these other people that were really, really good in the ring. And he was just always pinned as the number one guy. And I kind of get why he would be the number one guy, but not as far as in-ring work. Because if you look at it, he's really, really good with kids. He's good at cutting a promo. And people genuinely, like, they want to see him. So he can sell a show and sell seats without even really trying, just because of the character John Cena, you know. And I don't know, just to me, after 2008, after WrestleMania 23, when he faced Shawn Michaels, it was almost at that point that everybody started to gather that he was being pushed like way too much. You know, he was in so many pay-per-views and so many contendership matches, and if you look at just the way that he wrestles, okay, the dude only really does like 5 moves. You know, he'll come out, he'll get beat down, and then he throws a few punches, and then he gets beat down again, and then he throws a few punches. It continues one more time, and then he finally comes back with the 5 moves that he's going to do, which is like a shoulder tackle, lift up power slam, the 5-knuckle shuffle, and then what my generation would call the FU, or this generation's attitude adjustment, given that, you know, WWE had to go all PG-13. But the dude only does 5 moves. So to me, that doesn't really justify him having just 16 world championships in the 10 years, or 12 years, that he was an active, full-time WWE superstar. And that's not even including the rest of the championships. So I actually have a list of all of his championships I'm about to read off right now. So these are all of John Cena's championship reigns. He is a 13-time WWE championship. He is a 3-time World Heavyweight Champion. He's a 5-time U.S. Champion, 2-time Tag Team Champion, 2-time World Tag Team Champion. He's won the Money in the Bank, and he's gotten 2 Royal Rumble wins, which was 2008 and 2013. So if you add up all of those numbers that I just listed off, you get 25 titles in 11 years until 2015. And then he stopped competing for championships. And ever since then, he's been teasing that 16th world championship reign, which I do not want to fucking see, because clearly for years, that's all we saw was John Cena. And then if you look, this is another list that is actually like really shocking to me. When you look at John Cena and his championship reigns, it was not just the reigns. It was also WrestleMania. Okay? Here's a list of all of just 10 WrestleManias and him being in every single main event. WrestleMania 20, he went up against the Big Show for the United States title, won. WrestleMania 21, JBL, WWE Championship, won. WrestleMania 22, main event, Triple H, WWE Championship, won. WrestleMania 23, Shawn Michaels, WWE Championship, won. WrestleMania 24, Randy Orton, Triple H, Triple Threat match, WWE Championship, won. WrestleMania 25, Big Show, Edge, Triple Threat match, World Championship, won. WrestleMania 26, Batista, WWE Championship, won. WrestleMania 27, The Miz, WWE Championship, main event, lost. WrestleMania 28, The Rock, in a singles match, lost. WrestleMania 29, The Rock, WWE Championship, won. WrestleMania 30, Bray Wyatt in a singles match, won. So out of those 8 WrestleManias, regardless of if he lost, he was still in the main event. He was still in like one of the main storylines over just those 10 years. How many times did we have to see John Cena in a WWE World Heavyweight or WWE Championship match at WrestleMania? How many other characters could have actually benefited from being in that spotlight? But no, it always had to be John Cena. And he's even gone out there and said himself that he has people come up to him and ask him why he didn't do anything different. And he says that he gets heat from it all the time, and he's ready for it to continue. Because he knows. He knows that he actually took away spots from people that could have deserved it. It makes no sense, because by the time that he left, there was no over talent on the roster. There was nobody. And yet, he tried to say in the 2016 promo, going into No Mercy with Roman Reigns, that the only reason why he has to continue to come back to WWE is because the wrestlers can't do their jobs. And that he helped AJ Styles and Kevin Owens make a splash coming into WWE. When, if you look at that statement, like AJ Styles in 2016, when he debuted in WWE, that was because AJ Styles worked for that. It wasn't because of John Cena. Yes, with Kevin Owens, because he actually helped him and actually sold his moves to make him look powerful when he debuted. That's what John Cena should have done throughout his entire career, instead of waiting until 2015, 2014. That makes no sense to me. And then he's going to blame the rest of the talent, or not want to take responsibility and actually say, yeah, it should have been different. Granted, maybe you might not have been able to change it, but you should at least be able to respect people's opinion when they say it should have been done better. Because now you're gone and we're left with nobody, that WWE has had to work their ass off to try and build a roster over the last 7 years. And even people today say that it's still not fixed. But let's talk about John Cena and Bray Wyatt, because this was another thing that to me it ruined WWE. Whenever John Cena was pinned with somebody that could actually benefit from beating him, he always still beat him. Like, if you look at Bray Wyatt versus John Cena at WrestleMania 30, that was one of their main storylines going into that WrestleMania. John Cena won. Look at Rusev at the next year's WrestleMania, WrestleMania 31. Rusev was over with Rusev Day. He faced John Cena. He won. But my question is how can he not look at that and actually go to Vince McMahon and say, hey, I don't want to win this tonight. You know what I mean? I want to put him over and actually sit down and talk to Vince. Because if anybody's going to try and tell me that John Cena does not have enough respect by Vince McMahon, that he would actually take into consideration anything that he brought to the table, I would call you crazy. Because everybody knows John Cena. There's so much respect out there for him. And I'm not saying that I don't respect him as a person, because I don't know him as a person. But I do know his character. I do know what I've seen on TV and how it's affected other things. So he could have asked Vince McMahon to allow him to put both of those men over at WrestleMania 30, because Bray Wyatt was hot back then. He was really over. And then once he lost to John Cena, it was like nobody could really believe his character anymore. Rusev, same thing. After that, he struggled. So I don't believe that he couldn't have helped more, and then he's going to turn around and try and blame the roster and say that they aren't doing their job. Makes no sense to me. But here's another thing I just want to just talk to you guys about, because this is freaking interesting. So I was watching, going through Twitter, and there's this guy who does vlogs on YouTube, and he was going through this airport, and he noticed that John Cena was at a Starbucks, right? So he's sitting there vlogging, going through the airport, and he goes and he kind of like stands in line, and he's like sitting there, and he's talking to the camera that's only, pointed at him. And he's talking about how like cool it is that, he gets to vlog everything, and that he's always going into airports, and like you don't ever know who you're going to see. And then that's when he kind of pans just sideways just a little bit to see, John Cena. And he asked him if he's John Cena from WWE. And John Cena said, yes, I'm that, but thank you for asking if you can actually record me. And the guy was like, I'm sorry, like this is just my job. I was just telling them that it's cool that you don't ever know who you're going to meet. But my question when I saw that was like, A, he didn't care that somebody was actually recording something and was actually being like more rude, because that's that dude's job, is to actually vlog and go on trips. And the question is like, John Cena wants to be in Hollywood. So what the hell is he going to do when the paparazzi come around him and then just start snapping pictures? You're going to like look at them and be like, well, thanks for asking. No, dude, like you're in Hollywood now. Nobody fucking gives a shit. So like, I didn't get that. And so it's like, not only did he just like really ruin things in WWE, but just from just certain aspects, I just don't know, And his match on January or December, this last December, when he finally came back for one match and he literally did 5 moves and then fucking left, it was like, what was the whole point of you coming back? Like, just for 5 moves? And I get people are going to say, oh, well, it's because he's in Hollywood and he wants to go, and then don't do it. Save it for a different time where you can actually come back and give us something good. Give us like a freaking Edge versus John Cena at Unforgiven in a TLC match good. Randy Orton versus John Cena good. There was just a lot of things with his character and things that he could have done, and the amount of space that he took up just to fill that bubble and try and make him a massive star, it's just ridiculous. But if this is the kind of content you guys like pro wrestling, hit that like, hit that subscribe button, comment down below, and tell me what you guys think about John Cena and his career. Again, this is Interesting Podcast. I'll catch you guys later.